we didn't have the album done by the time we started releasing singles. So we kind of just released songs as they were finished.
When I saw the track list and I saw Danny Brown and Tara Reid, I was over the moon.
As a younger kid, like my job in like middle school and high school was just to be cool as fuck. That's all I cared about. Like I was just like, how do I like look and act like cool as shit? Now it's just like I just make music with Joey and I kind of just like walk around and make music.
Joey, Valence Brae joining us today. Thank you very much, guys. You just released your new album, No Hands. What's the reception been like?
It's been horrible. And hate us.
Everyone hates it. We fell off. It's over.
Over.
I love that whole fell off vibe. It's like, do you know what word I keep seeing on the internet recently? Just negative aura.
Yeah.
The word aura is like the new thing in the world.
Zero aura. You know, I was really mad when people started saying that because I thought it was super corny, but I end up saying it now like all the time, just like, bro has no aura.
But that's
what
happens.
I say it like ironically. I really want to get a shirt that says like zero aura on it.
We needed to have the mic shirt on the episode and it's gone already now. It's too late.
Oh, I packed it up. Wait, I have another one. Hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah, you get to chat with me. But no, that for real though, the album's doing better than we expected. We were like not really sure this second album because the first one was like literally just a bunch of singles that we like threw onto an album that were already out before just to package it as an album. And now this one, there's a little bit of like thought that went into it, obviously, and just, you know, just some general themes and ideas into it. So it's definitely exciting. It's doing pretty well. There's a couple singles on it that are doing pretty well, like streaming wise and just on social media. So it's all good news. We're having fun. There we go.
There it is.
All right, take time to process that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I just wanted to delve into the new album a little bit. There's quite a few tracks on there that I really, really enjoy. I mean, album top to bottom is full of bangers. My personal favorite is No Hands, and something about that track that I really enjoy is the fact that it includes a lot of scratching because you had a feature from Z Trip on there.
Yeah.
So I just feel like scratching and that kind of sound is kind of missed from hip hop nowadays. Was it something that you kind of aimed towards to bring back that style from like the early 90s?
I don't know about the scratching specifically. I think because the beat is very like old school sounding, I think it just sounded really great in the context. And I think when people try to attempt old school stuff, they just like have like a very traditional, just like boom bap beat. And I think it just like feels like it captures that a lot, but I don't know if that's really like what we were intending to do. I thought we just think it sounded cool. There's not a lot of scratching in modern music and it's such like a missed instrument. So like I think it just works in our favor a lot. So
I feel like it's a skill that's missed.
Yeah, exactly. I remember we were sitting there, we were making that track, and obviously it sounded like super jazzy, you know, and all that. But me and Joey both looked at each other like, wouldn't it be sick if there was just like a fucking break part? It was just like just the whole time. And we were like, okay. And then, you know, we're homies with Z Trip, so he hooked it up for us. So that was cool.
It worked perfectly. I just reached out. He was like, yeah, let's fucking go. So
putting together a full album, top to bottom, it's a little bit difficult sometimes. What was that process like as independent artists in the release cycle of the album, promoting it, getting it out there? Was that a little bit more difficult than you imagined or just part of the fun?
I mean, not really. Really. It's pretty standard. We're so used to it because like that's all we know, you know? So I think with the singles, we didn't have the album done by the time we started releasing singles. So we kind of just released songs as they were finished. It wasn't really like attempting to hype up the album. It was more just like releasing what we had done. But I guess it did hype up the album. But I guess the two singles that were out beforehand, or three, were we released The Baddest right beforehand, Where Are You From, and John Cena. And so I don't know. I think we just wanted to give people a couple different sounds to like just mess around with and see what we had to offer. But honestly, I think the singles, besides The Baddest, didn't really capture like the feeling of the album. I think once you listen to it as a whole, it makes it so much more like obvious what we were intending to do rather than the singles, I guess. I don't know if you feel the same way, Brae, but
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely like No Hands. This album was definitely kind of like thought out a little bit more than like Punk Tactics was, as far as like the overall, the aura, I guess you could say. Like actually just like the themes and of it all. So yeah.
You mentioned something there that made me really upset, and it's John Cena, because he recently announced that he's going to be retiring soon.
Yeah.
It's his last year ever as a wrestler. He's one of those. He was hated his whole career, and now he's retiring. I'm actually really sad about it.
Mhm.
Well, you know what happens every time a WWE wrestler retires, they always come back.
They
There's
come
no
back.
such thing. There's no such thing
Yeah,
as
they
someone
always
retiring in the
come back.
WWE.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
But good for him.
Depends how much they offer him.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they
But-
managed to get Undertaker back for what, 30 seconds at the last WrestleMania.
He's literally
so-
Undertaker's retired like 5 times.
yeah,
Like-
yeah. And then presenting football trophies in Saudi Arabia or wherever it was as well for some reason. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
That's so funny.
So with this new album, you've got quite a few features on there. I mean, when I saw the track list and I saw Danny Brown and Tara Reid, I was over the moon. Love both of those artists a lot. What was it like working with these artists? Because I know you had Logic on your first one for a remix of one of your tracks, but
Yeah.
these ones seemed like the tracks were more aimed for those artists.
Yeah, I think once we made them, we basically had exactly who we wanted in mind with it. And Danny was like a huge dream feature of ours. And Tara Reid, like I've been a fan of Getter for so long, his like previous musical project, which was like all dubstep stuff. And so when he switched over to hip hop, I was like, damn, this is really good too. And I never thought that would like become a thing where we would work together, but he was a fan of our music and it just worked perfectly. And I sent him over that track and he sent his shit back like immediately. But the Pack-a-Punch thing was like, holy shit, a dream come true. Cause we knew that track was like such a focus track for the album because it's just so hard hitting. And he just slid in there perfect. But Breaking tell the story of it actually happening is pretty funny.
Yeah, Danny Brown. So, I mean, Joe and I, we live in Pennsylvania in the States. And so Danny had a show in Philadelphia, and it's like a 3-hour drive from us. So we drove down and he invited us to the show and we watched the show. And then after the show, we popped up to the green room and he's like, yeah, just swing by my hotel room and I'll like rip the verse for you. So we had with us like a suitcase with like 2 monitors in it, a speaker and a laptop. And we drug that suitcase over to his hotel in the city. And he literally just like spit his verse out in like one take in like 10 minutes. So that was super cool. So we just like chilled out with Danny for a little bit and kicked some rhymes around together. And then that was it. But it was easy.
Nah, that's banging. And what a masterpiece it created. And you
Oh, yeah,
mentioned
it's
that just being able to kind of throw some stuff in a suitcase, go off, record a verse. How is your recording process changed over the years, or is it pretty much still like just whatever equipment you have, get it done and create a banger, or is there a bit more high tech involved now?
Literally right here. Like it's
Yeah.
exactly the same.
Yeah,
Except
same here.
I think we
I do
upgraded
shit
the
from my house. Sometimes. That's it.
Yeah, the only thing we got was a new microphone. The first album was recorded on a Blue Yeti Snowball microphone. So,
Oh, man.
Amazing.
so
Fucking
after that,
hell.
we upgraded to like the pretty standard Shure SM7B, and we just have that fucking Focusrite.
It's so
and
funny
just-
too. I got mine on sale. It was like a refurb one. Like some kid like rebuilt it and it was like 80% off. So it's not even like a
Are you
functional-
serious?
I swear to God, dude, at the local music shop downtown, like it was like a return, like broken box policy one, and it still works.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Rest
yeah.
in peace to the Blue Yeti. I used to use that to
Yeah,
record
We still
yeah,
have
for
it
YouTube
all the
videos.
time. All
Right
the
there.
time.
Well, I have
Oh,
this one. I have
amazing.
this one that I use for like to just play games and talk normally. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, the recording process really isn't different. Bray just comes over, we both get naked, and we just start.
Yep.
No, no. Like I just like show him a bunch of beats I'm working on, and we kind of like figure out a vibe. But as soon as he gets hyped about something, we have to like finish the track and get our shit down immediately because it's all about capturing that moment of like excitement about something. And that's why kind of all of our songs are very exciting and you can like genuinely feel that we're excited to be like performing them because we are, and it's really captured in basically like a 48-hour period to make it feel the most genuine, because then you start overthinking it and it's all that stuff. And so if you don't have the baseline and structure and everything you need down in that short period of time, it's going to just become like a cycle of overthinking and all that. So yeah, it's relatively like the same as when we started, just making each other laugh and fooling around.
So do you come up with the beats in advance? Do you think like, oh, this one's gonna be fire, I'll send it over to Brae and then see what he thinks and then go back and forth on it? Or is it literally in the moment you're just making shit?
It's not too often where I make stuff in the moment, but occasionally I will. But usually I just like will sit and make beats for a while. And then if I send one to Brae and he gets hype about it, I know it works. Because I sit there and like, you know, making the beat is like a totally different thing because my mind's just like racing over so many ideas. But as soon as Bray gets hype about it, I know it's good and ready to go, and I like normally don't change much. So
I feel like I want a POV cam of Bray receiving one of the beats and just like losing his mind by himself. Like, yo, I am ready.
which one of those was the case for the album, Bray, that you felt like that?
I mean, I remember in the moment because it took us about 2 months beginning to end to finish like the album, like in its entirety. We had like a couple like writing sessions with just me and Joey and like just in a room, like just going for it like the whole time over a week. But I can't remember. I mean, I kind of do, and I remember vividly the baddest was like both me and Joey were like, this is just fucking crazy. Cause like we wanted to make like a crazy ass like club banger like type song, like an old like 2000s like booty popper. But I remember that one being like, oh my God, this one's gonna like be insane. And then I just remember the beat for Pack a Punch being like disgusting. Like before we even had any lyrics on it, I was like, this sounds fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Pack a Punch was wild. Yeah, I don't know. I think
And
those were
the bus it beat too. Like I
oh
played
dude,
that and I
Bust It
didn't
was
like it at all.
crazy.
And you started rapping on it, and
Yeah,
then kind of
yeah.
went into the vault for a while. And then I changed. It was like a really like electronic beat before, and then I put like the break over it, and I was like, holy shit, this is fire. And then yeah, so Bray definitely inspired that song totally. That would
Yeah, I
not.
did the verses for Bust It like months, almost like probably like 6 or 7 months ago. We were like in
I think it
LA.
was in December.
Was it in December?
It was at Lucas's house in
Oh yeah,
DC.
yeah, yeah. We were at our manager's house and like Joey just had that beat on. I'm like, that is nasty. I'm like, let me put some on that real quick. And I just like went for like a minute straight with just like words. And then that song, like we just like kept it in the vault for a while. And then we were making the album. We're like, what about that old song? And then
He
yeah,
didn't
that.
even change. He didn't even re-record his lyrics. They
No.
were the same from when he recorded them. I just had to record mine. But yeah.
I love that. It feels really organic. It's like a nice way to do music. I think a lot of things are a little bit overproduced now, and it makes it kind of lose its magic. Like you said, just in the moment, get the energy out. And I wanted to go back to collaborations quickly because obviously we mentioned Danny Brown, etc. And I wondered if in the music world, who are your dream collaborations? If you could work with anyone, you can throw a few out there. Who would you really want to work with?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Fuck
I
yeah.
wish that was a joke, and it's not. She's fucking amazing.
Yeah, Lady
But
Gaga.
for real, Brady and I both agree every time. Tyler the Creator is like a dream collab for us.
Yeah.
I would love to like work with Skrillex on a production level. Like he's like one of my heroes. And we actually have a song coming out with Pendulum, who I'm like a massive fucking fan of, and that's just like a dream come true because I've loved them for so long. We both love drum and bass. So, but yeah, that like we really want to see if we can get Pink Panthers on the third album.
Oh, yeah,
That's a
that'd be
great
sick.
dream feature. Like Meg the Stallion too. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Also like a random was like Baby Keem. I would love to do a song with Baby Keem.
Yes,
Baby
Baby
Keem
Keem. We
would be
love
really
Baby
fun.
Keem.
Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah,
really,
but it's
Touching
like
on-
weird because I like want to get. I think we're put ourselves in a place where we can get so many people from outside of our universe and kind of make it work. And that's something we really want to try for the next one is be like sort of avant-garde about who we choose for the features. But yeah.
Yeah, because with Reid, when I saw him on the lineup, I was like, okay, I can kind of sonically, create that in my head. But then when I saw Danny Brown, I was like, I'm gonna have to listen to this to see what the fuck's going on because like I couldn't figure how he would fit himself into a track with you guys, but it worked so seamlessly. Like it was perfect collaboration there.
Thank you.
yeah, thanks.
You were touching on Pendulum then as well. So I went to see him in March, I think it was, at Leeds Arena, and they started out with the track that you guys did.
Oh,
which
really?
at the time, I had absolutely no fucking idea who it was. I thought it might have been Zach De La Rocca. It was like I couldn't
Oh, really?
piece it together, and it sounded so fucking nuts. And then I saw you guys. Well, Pendulum shared a snippet of it, I think, like last month or something.
Mhm.
And I just wondered what it was like for you guys working with Rob because he's just an absolute legend in the industry.
I mean, we met them like very briefly when we opened for Limp Bizkit. The lineup was like us, Kenny Hoopla, who's an amazing artist, Pendulum, and then Limp Bizkit. And so I was like fanboying so hard because I love Pendulum and I love Knife Party too. I like grew up on that shit. So I was like, so we met like KJ Saka, the drummer, and that was kind of like our first introduction to them. But then they reached out and they were like, we just love your stuff and we were blown away by your set. And do you want to hop on this track? And they sent it over and we were like, holy shit. So we recorded it super quick and sent it back. And they're both like super nice guys and we're super excited about us. So it was awesome. It's like a dream come true. So
Pendulum are legends over here in the UK.
Yeah, I was gonna ask a question. Which one would you prefer, Pendulum or Knife Party? That's a big one.
Oh man.
Okay, Knife Party in like
Party.
2012 would have been
Yeah,
like
Oof.
the smasher, but
the
I think
VIP of internet friends. Whoa.
yeah. Oh my god. Like spitting verses on Bonfire would have been crazy. But yeah, I mean, Pendulum now just feels like more right. Especially there's been like drum and bass has always been big in the UK, but I think there's been a resurgence sort of other places, and it feels right. And I mean, they're pretty much full swing back into Pendulum now after the Knife Party thing. So I think it feels really right, and it's just cool. It's like very nostalgic, but fun. So
I feel like Knife Party fit that era very well when kind of like dubstep etc was really blowing up. I know Knife Party was a fair bit heavier, but it fit that vibe of like 2010 to 15.
And then finding out that it was the same artist essentially blew my fucking mind at the time because
Yeah.
I'd loved both of them individually. Then finding out it was the same, I was like, oh, no fucking surprise. And you saying that Terror Regis be Getter, I had no idea until you've just mentioned it there,
Oh wow,
which is
really?
insane there
Yeah.
as well because I love both of those.
So yeah,
I
it's
think
funny how that stuff just like, you know, the worlds sort of morph together. And along that same line, it's we've seen a lot of love from the electronic scene too. And I think it's just because the energy of our music and the energy of that and the energy of heavy music in general, it's like why we've gained such a big fan base with metal people too. It's just because people respond to energy and they like to have like genuine fun. So I think it's just so cool getting love from all these different areas.
I feel like there's a few artists that kind of fit into that category as well. We were talking before we started recording about Denzel Curry's new album, and that's an absolute banger, 10 out of 10, love it. But I feel like he's one of those where he can play at a heavy metal festival and still pull a big crowd. Everyone's insane, everyone's hyped because he brings the vibe himself. And then obviously there's yourselves. I'm trying to think who else would fit into that. Like, I mean, it's like Pendulum and
Well, I
electronic
mean, like
artists.
Tech Nine, he's always
Yeah.
at Knotfest and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah. And speaking of energy at shows, so I've seen you guys at Leeds Festival and it was absolutely bonkers, right?
So good.
Mosh pits everywhere, great crowd. Tim, you've told me stories of seeing the guys. Is it in Manchester?
Yeah, you were Yes in 2022, I think it was.
Oh my goodness. Yes
Yeah,
Club?
back in the day. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember
So
that.
I always hear and have seen the energy at your shows, and I wondered what's the craziest venue or city you've been to in terms of crowds?
Dude, it's so nuts. We always like go back to this, but I think the first time we were like, holy shit, was at Reading and Leeds the very first year we played in 2022. Um, we were the first set of the entire weekend of the festival, and right the tent that we were playing was like right as kids would come in. So we're getting ready to go on, and there's literally like 10 people on the front line, and then 5 minutes later the doors just rush in and all there's literally like 5,000 kids in this tent, and we're like, oh my god. And that was like flipping, they were freaking out, like everybody was screaming, mosh pits fucking everywhere, jumping, these kids were just so hype, and it was like, oh my god, like this is so cool. So I think the reaction and the surprise of that energy still is like so top tier on my list. But we actually just played um a festival recently in Seattle, and that was nuts. It was the first time we played the new album music. Always love London, and the UK always fucking turns up for us. That's like one of our favorite places to be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because we've been performing now for like some years, and I feel like every time we're like, nobody's gonna be at our set, bro. And then we pull up and there's like so many kids there, and like it just gets us by surprise because we're like every day we wake up, we still just can't believe that this shit's still going on for us. So we're like we're even shocked that there's like 3 kids there that know who we are, let alone like 3, 4, 5,000 people. So it's crazy for sure.
Yeah, you guys seem to care about the fans quite a lot because I know when I went to see you back in 2022, after the show, you were just there and letting people come over and you would sign stuff for them, just say hello and all that stuff, which is something a lot of artists, I don't think refuse to do, but don't think of doing. So I wondered like how important the fan reception and fan interaction is for you guys.
Dude, it's
Super.
so important.
Yeah.
Like they're the reason we have a career, and especially as independent artists, those are the people we rely on 100% to have careers. So to like avoid building a connection with those people is just stupid. Like, not from a business standpoint, but we genuinely care about them, and we're like also fans of our music. We go to everything we do as like fans, so we know what it's like to be in the position of a fan. And so I think we're just also very naturally friendly people, and we like meeting people, and it's just really cool. Yeah. So we try and answer as many DMs as we can, and we, hold like little meet and greets and everything. It's just it's cool because these are the people that are the reason we exist. So
Yeah, I love it. As I say, it feels like you guys are such a breath of fresh air in the music industry for me. Because I see everything's so vanilla a lot of the time. You see,
Corporate.
yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's signed, everyone's only allowed to post certain things, everyone's like not posting memes, not having a laugh, not having fun at shows. Like sometimes you even see artists telling crowds to calm down a bit and stuff, and you're like, come on, we want that energy there. And I wondered, you mentioned playing a festival in Seattle a minute ago, and there's a question that we ask everyone who comes on the podcast, and it is for your dream festival. So we want a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday night headliner from both of you, if we can.
Ooh.
And then you can throw in a few smaller acts if you want, but mainly those three headliners.
okay,
That's so
right.
funny. We've thought about this before too. We're like, man, wouldn't it be cool one day if we had like a JVB festival, just like all of our favorite artists? Oh man, a
I
Friday, a
know my
Saturday.
three.
The
Go ahead.
artists can also be dead or alive.
We've had people make
Oh,
super
shit.
groups,
Oh,
super
Fucking
groups, super
like
groups of
Michael
people that have
Jackson.
Michael
passed.
Jackson?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Shit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Well,
that just opens it up to so many things, but I'm just gonna
yeah.
go live. But I would say like Tyler, Skrillex, and like Turnstile would be like
Oh,
literally just like a rap day, like EDM day, and like an alternative and like rock day. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
goes
pretty
hard.
good. That's a good list right there. Dang, now I'm struggling. I feel like I need to open my Spotify real quick. Well, first of all, Michael Jackson, because you said people that have passed away, that would just be absurd.
yeah, that'd be
Yo,
fucking
Limp
amazing.
Bizkit too would be
I would
nuts.
love that. Yeah, Limp Bizkit would be fucking hard too. Let's go with some like EDM people. Maybe like Chase and Status. That'd be
Oh,
fun.
yes.
Dude, you know who else I
UK
love
legends.
recently is Sarah Laundry. Fucking hell, that techno shit is crazy. You guys know who that is?
I don't. I've got to be
Oh
honest.
my God. Do yourselves a favor after this and go on YouTube and type in Sarah Laundry Boiler Room. It's just fucking out of its mind techno. It's like ridiculous.
Chasing Status did an EP back in the day in the UK where they had loads of massive rappers like Giggs. I think Skepta was on there,
Mhm.
and it was called Volume of Bars. And if anything, it's probably quite similar to JVB because it's just like hard production and unbelievable bars. And you just definitely want to check out if you don't know about that.
That's
Yeah,
tough.
for sure. I mean, they're like absolutely. That's a dream feature as well. That would be nuts.
Status.
I feel like recently they've released nothing but absolute bangers, like with Badadan and what was it,
Yeah.
Liquor and Cigarettes, and all
Oh,
that
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
whole
They
that
just
whole
released a
EP
new
album
one
they
that's
did.
Like a
like
finger?
Gon Finger,
On
whatever.
finger.
Yes, yeah,
It's like
yeah,
so
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Shit hard, bro.
I mean, they
Yeah.
came back from there was No More Idols back in the day, which was such a phenomenal album with the was it Plan B feature on
Yeah.
which track was that? Regardless, they've been an absolute staple in the UK industry for as long
For
as I
sure.
can even
A
imagine at this
long
point.
time, yeah.
Definitely.
And when you started out making music, obviously you mentioned a lot of dream artists, dream acts, etc. Who did you used to listen to and be like, I want to be like those guys? Who were the inspirations? Who was like, because a lot of time when I ask this question, it's not what you expect. Like, I could imagine you saying the Pixies or something. Like when I listened to a Pixies album, I knew that I wanted to be an artist. What was that moment for you? Is that I'm going to become a musician?
For me at least, like I downloaded this album, UKF Bass Culture 2, and like it was like a compilation album of like a bunch of drum and bass and like dubstep and everything, and I was like, holy shit. And I found this song by Nero, if you're familiar, called Promises, and that's like
Yeah.
I remember just listening to that song and be like, I want to make music exactly like this. So I just had that song on loop, and I was just like writing down all these ideas and like drawing my first logo and everything. And so that song like totally inspired me to start making music. And now it's just like a plethora of fucking inspirations. I mean, we have so much inspiration from the people we grew up listening to, like a lot of old school and like Michael Jackson, R&B, and things like that. But yeah, for me, I mean, there's like so much like hardcore punk influence too, a lot of like electronics. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good story, Joey, about Nero and promises. That was um Yeah, for me, it's funny because until I met Joey like 5 years ago, I didn't even consider being like an artist, like an actual like thing that I would be doing. But I remember in like middle school, just like starting to really get in heavy and like just like the rap and hip hop like culture and like street scene. Like I was super into like, sneaker collecting and selling and just like all like the new clothes that were popping off at the time and all the music that went along with it. And I don't know. It's just like kind of funny because I always like as a younger kid, like my job in like middle school and high school was just to be cool as fuck. That's all I cared about. Like I was just like, how do I like look and act like cool as shit? And it's not kind of funny because like now it's just like I just make music with Joey and I kind of just like walk around and make music and wear cool clothes like I like to do since I was like 12. But I love like Pharrell Williams and like Jay-Z and like I just looked at those people and was like, damn, like they're like living the life. Like they just got it going on. But I can't remember what song like specifically like made me be like, dang, like I wonder if I could like be a rapper. I just listened to so much like rap music and was like, I'll give it a shot. So yeah.
With the newest album, I can hear a lot of influences across the board. There's definitely obviously Beastie Boys as a start, but then like I can almost hear like NERD in there, a bit of nerd
Oh yeah,
influence, and
definitely.
then maybe a bit of Tribe Called Quest,
A lot.
Rage
I
Against the
love that.
Like,
Machine.
I mean, the biggest inspirations for what we do now, there's everything between obviously like Beastie Boys in that era of like hard hitting, like energetic 80s rap music, all the way up to like Tribe Called Quest. And I love the Far Side is amazing. Like, so there's a lot of inspiration there, but there's also like Prodigy influence and a lot of like breakbeat electronic music, obviously drum and bass. And yeah, like house music and all that too, just, appearing on there. So, and obviously like punk influence, like we're really into Turnstile right now too. And then there's obviously like, I love Operation Ivy and all these like old school hardcore bands and everything. So yeah, it's like so much of the stuff that Blaine and I just like listening to morphed into one.
Turnstile used to play at a venue in Leeds. I learned this from an old friend who's in a hardcore band, and it's in like one of the worst areas of the city, and it's just like an old abandoned mill. And he just tells me stories of like Turnstile showing up, and this must have been like 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe even longer than that. And now they're so massive. The last album blew them up to a completely like different level. Started getting Jimmy Kimmel slots or things along those lines. And they have a music video where it's a live performance, and it's one of the coolest sets I've ever seen. The whole background of the room is just teddies. It's just teddy bears stuck to the wall everywhere. And I thought that is the best soundproofing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I love that.
It's better than using egg boxes, at least, anyway.
That's fire.
That's
But
crazy.
with the energy at you guys' shows, I can imagine some of the fans maybe get a little bit too crazy sometimes. And I wondered if there's ever been a fan interaction that's been completely rogue or something you didn't expect.
There's not.
Yeah, I don't know. Our fans are pretty like tame. I mean, like they're okay because it's crazy. Like a lot, like if you're at a JVB show, you're either like literally like 14 or like 15, or you're their dad. So there's kind of like it's kind of like the dads are all like in the back, like arms crossed, like bopping their head and shit, and then like the young kids, like the mosh pits, are just a bunch of kids like jumping up and down and shoving each other. It hasn't been that crazy, but when we're in like the UK and stuff, those guys are wild. Like they'll like jump on the stage and like jump off and shit, which is fucking awesome. Like I can't wait. Like for these shows coming up, bro. I'm literally gonna tell these kids like you better be sending bodies to the front of the fucking stage and like throwing each other off. Like it's gonna be nuts, but. I don't know. Like, we haven't had any weird, like, I mean, we've had kids like camp out like outside of our like van in the States and shit and like wait for us to come out, but like they just want to say what's up and get a picture. Like, we haven't had anything like super. We did have a kid one time come into our green room and be like, "What's up? You can't be here, but all right." Like,
I think we, like, again, like nobody has any bad intentions, but I think our least desirable interactions are usually with drunk dads, to be
dude,
honest.
that's the worst. If you're a dad and you come to our show, have a drink, stop being drunk and coming up to us and be like, "Bleh," like it's the worst thing ever.
Like they'll put your hand on your shoulder and like go over to like talk in your ear, and I'm like, fella, thanks for your support, but please don't do that. But usually, like everyone's generally like very respectful, and they again don't mean anything by it. Everyone's just like passionate, and like it feels good to have us. But yeah, overall, like always amazing interactions with our fans, and something that they do that we love is bring us like always random shit to sign. Someone brought like they bring like their IDs, and someone brought like a catheter, which is like one of the craziest things. Like they bring like someone brought like an eggplant for us to sign, and a DS, and all this stuff. So we always love that.
Yeah, you were speaking about your upcoming UK tour there, and looking at the dates that you've got. It seems like a lot of them are sold out, and I imagine the ones that are left are likely to sell out. How do you guys feel about that? Because that's absolutely insane.
It's
Yeah,
fucking crazy.
it's mind blowing, dude. Because first of all, when we announced the tour, the main show we had in London was at some like club that was like what, like 500-600 people or
I
something
think it
like
was
that.
like 680 or 700.
Well, either way, we were able to upgrade it so fast because it like sold out like the day we dropped the tickets. We're like, what the fuck? So then we upgraded it and they're like, have you guys ever heard of Electric Ballroom? We're like, holy fuck, that holds like 1,500 people. And we just got word yesterday, right? That one is like
It's
close to
sold out. It just sold
or
out
it is
too.
sold
So
out. So yeah,
yeah.
like the fact, and I looked up videos and pictures of Electric Ballroom. Like I can't even fathom the fact that we're gonna be there in a couple months and like all of those people are going to be there like for us. It's so fucking weird, but
It's
going to be
crazy because literally 2 years ago we were playing like shows that varied between like 10 kids there and like 100. And we thought that was an insane amount when we were on tour for the first time. And now it's like, holy shit, it's just on a completely different level. And like, obviously, we had Punk Tactics and we've had a few other things go, but it doesn't even feel like we are having these like super insanely big songs. It just feels like we're doing something that's connecting with people and like we're building genuine fans. That's something that we did like as soon as we released our first couple songs, we were like, I don't care about anything else. Let's get on the road immediately. Let's get in front of fans. And that was like the best advice we were ever given because it turned us from into this like TikTok thing to an immediately like live act gaining genuine fans like right off the gate. And that's the best decision we ever made. And so we've seen kids come back so many times and just be like, yeah, I was there like the first shows. And so yeah, that was just like mind blowing right off the gate. And now I can't even fathom the fact that we're selling out 1,500 person venues when 2 years ago we were playing in front of 15 people. So it's just like nuts.
Yeah, to do it in a country that isn't your own as well, and to be doing this
Exactly. It's
across the
like
globe
That's what I'm
is
saying. Crazy. Crazy.
like in comparison to when I went to see you at Yes, that was still, there was probably about 100 people there. But in comparison to playing somewhere like Electric Ballroom, the growth in such a short amount of time is crazy. And considering a lot of people that, blow up on TikTok, so to speak, just end up doing just that and not really existing in the real world, you guys have done a really good job of bridging the gap between being a fad and kind of being an actual genuine artist. Did you guys ever think that, having the TikTok exposure might have been damaging for you, or was that something that you kind of just capitalized on and grew from there?
that was always something in the back of the mind, and that's something you've seen hundreds of people fall into that same category where they have something that goes on TikTok and then are never heard of again. Um, I think we just didn't think about it that much. We just knew we wanted to like play live and immediately got out there, but I also think because what we're doing is so different, and it resonates with so many people on like a level of not only nostalgia, but just the fact that there's energy back in something that people can respond to. It's allowed us to make like very genuine fans, and we were so like purposeful in trying to just make as many connections with fans that we could because we knew those people would be like ride or dies for life. So I think there was a little bit of fear of falling into that category, but I guess we just kept getting lucky and just kept having stuff go, and more people show up to the shows.
There was one person who wasn't a big fan of the music, and that was BradTasteInMusic. And I wanted to know how the Halo match came about. I need some more information on that.
That's crazy. I love this story because we honestly became friends after it, and it's something that it might be the first time it's ever happened in the music industry. But there's a website called Album of the Year, and people just go rate music on it. And I just like to look at it because obviously, as an artist, you want to see what people are saying about your music. I care. So this guy who I'd never heard of before, Brad Taste, released like his review of it and posted it to Twitter, and it had a few thousand likes. And it was basically just shitting on the album, being like, oh, it's so, annoying and derivative and doesn't have anything to say. And so just to be funny, I retweeted it, quote tweeted it, and was like, you know what? I respect it. Not everyone's going to get it. And uh, he responded to that and was like, "This is how someone should react, like to negative criticism. Like, not everyone's gonna get it, which is cool." And I honestly kind of said it a little bit as a joke, but also I don't care because everybody has opinions. I have opinions about things that I don't like, and like anyway. So he retweeted that, and to be funny, I was like, you know what? Verse me in Halo, 1v1 me in Halo, and if I win, you got to change the score. And he's like, sure. So it got a few thousand likes, and people were just like excited about that. Then we did the live stream, and I fucking whooped his ass. And and so we kind of just were talking about music criticism and music in general, and I think just became friends about it, and that gave him a lot more context into the kinds of music we make and why. And I got a text afterwards after the Pack-a-Punch music video came out. He's like, dude, I actually I get this now. Like, I was totally wrong about you guys. So yeah, I think that's just an like a fair example of, everybody's just human, and it's okay to have opinions about music, but there's something worth it about like acknowledging the purpose of an artist and really taking time to listen to something a few times before you make a genuine reaction to it. And the context apparently matters a lot. So yeah, it was just funny experience.
Yeah, Brad Taste was somebody that I kind of saw, I think it was a couple of years ago, and he wasn't that big. He maybe had 20, 30K, and he was making like hour-long videos where he was just reviewing the worst songs ever and, just the worst of everything. And you see that with quite a lot of reviewers. Don't get me wrong, I'd enjoy Brad Taste's content, but you see that it's a lot on the negative side. Like a lot of people are saying with Fantano that they've kind of, he's lost credit because all he does is hate on everything rather than like lift things up and do good things. But I think you guys were featured on a Fantano video where it was Giggens who was doing it for you. And I think you got like a light 8. So what did it feel like having that from somebody related to Fantano of being the critic that he is?
Yeah, it's crazy for sure. I mean, that review was so funny at the end when he drew the fucking picture of us. Like, I was dying laughing. But Giggens is awesome. He's very, very supportive. So shout out Fantano and Giggens. He like follows us and comments on our stuff. He's a really great guy. And yeah, I mean, it's just cool. It's also just cool to see our stuff popping up on that type of media because we never thought we would be there before. So the fact that, whether you like Fantano or not, like all these kids, like they really value like, his opinion. So it's like, it's cool, like being posted on that and getting like, some good commentary on it. So it's fun.
Yeah. Well, not only that, sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I just think it legitimized us a lot. And I think it put us on a lot of people's radars who might have been iffy about it, either someone who didn't know about it or had like a pre-existing thing of like hating it. I think seeing it not only get a good review, but being reviewed by someone who normally only reviews, pretty legitimate music and artists, it felt like a big win for us. And the 8 out of 10 was just a icing on the cake. And not only that, he messaged me and was like, I live in Connecticut. Like, let me know if you guys are ever around and want to do something. He was just very supportive. He's like, The Baddest is one of my favorite songs of the year. So that was just so cool to hear.
No, that's great. And I was wondering, did you guys see the Fantano skit that came out the other week? Was it you that sent me it, Tim?
Yeah.
Where it was, Canyon thing?
Meat Canyon, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah, that too. Crazy.
Joe had never seen anything Meat Canyon related or anything in that realm of animation. And oh my God, he lost his shit. Just like Fantano lost his shit and then put it back up his ass.
But I had no idea what to expect when I clicked on that link, and it certainly was not that. Because I watch a lot of his reviews and he's there like shoving his own shit up his ass. I was like, what the fuck? This is peak Tim content.
Yeah. Meat Canyon's great.
So I wanted to touch on a bit with the kind of, the background to you guys making your music, because I know that you, Joey, came up through EDM. How did you end up making that bridge from EDM across to hip hop? And was it meeting Brae that kind of sold you on going down that route?
So I think it was more meeting Brae where we started, messing around with just making songs to be funny. And I would just have a random beat on because I liked producing so many other things other than just strictly EDM. I'm just like very multi-genre, but I would put on random beats and then Brae would just come over and be like, let me spit on that. And then we would just make songs to be funny. And so that just kept happening. And one of those songs turned into Crank It Up. And that was the first time I was like, everything just feels so full circle right now because I've always been such a outgoing person who likes to be funny. and I made like very serious and like emotional, heartfelt EDM, and there was always such a like clash between how I was, you know, promoting myself, and two, how I like am inside and the type of music I want to make. But with Bray, it was like this feels such a full circle moment between my nostalgic sort of inspirations, modern inspirations, and also just an avenue to have genuine fun with music. And it felt like so right. So as soon as Crank It Up started getting views, first time any of the songs I had ever made got any views, I was like, I'm making the immediate switch. It was literally the first song we made. I was like, EDM is out the door. We're doing this now. And so we just became a duo, and that was the end of that. So
Was it something, Brett? Was it something that you like enjoyed doing prior to joining with Joey in terms of rapping? Like, were you into the b-boy style of stuff, or was it literally just one day you two were just pissing around and then this just happened?
It was kind of a mixture of both, I would say, because I've never been on a microphone or done anything in any musical capacity until I met Joey like 5 or 7 years ago. So my dad growing up, he was like a break dancer in like New York City, like back in the day, like him and his cousins were like doing all that shit. And so I was definitely immersed in that world, like from a young age. Like remember, like I took like a bunch of hip hop like classes. Like I was like a dancer for like all through like middle school and high school, but I stopped in college. So I kind of just like knew that world like a little bit, but never actually tried to do anything like inside of it, like, you know, just like production wise or like actually trying to rap or anything. But I listened to so much rap music, and like just as a kid, like I remember my mom just being like, how do you know all the words to these songs? Because like I could just like spit like a whole song from like beginning to end. Like I had like so many songs like in my head. And my mom would always just like kind of like tease me. She'd be like, well, I wish you would, you know, memorize your homework as well as you memorize these stupid rap lyrics. You'd actually be good in school, because I didn't give a fuck about school. But yeah, so then I met Joey, and he would always just be making like all these beats and stuff like that. And I was just like, let me just like try. I've like never actually like tried it. So I was never even that guy in like high school to be like doing like freestyles at the lunch table with his friends. I thought that shit was corny. I'm like, why would I? Like, that is so stupid. But until I started doing it with Joey, I guess it just kind of was pretty decent at it. So I don't know.
Yeah, in terms of the fun side of things, you guys definitely enjoy making perhaps the world's most obscure references to media, and even throwing in samples that, you know, people wouldn't know otherwise. Like you got like the goddamn at the end of Kill Bill, and where's my super suit, Doughboy. And then on Watch Your Step, here's a question I've had for a very long time since I heard that track. At around 112, 113, just before the breakdown and Joey's verse, is that the pufferfish with the carrot being
yes.
put in its mouth? Thank fuck. Okay, good. Good. I'm very glad that it is, because this I've been debating with people, and some people don't understand what that video is, and they kind of say like, what the hell are you on about pufferfish with the carrot? So I'm glad that I wasn't going insane.
Yeah, that was funny.
Do you guys plan that stuff out in advance, or is it something that just comes when you're making the music? Do you think, oh, I'm going to throw this sample in because I like it? Like you've got super hot fire in there and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just come as we're making the track, and it's normally I'm just like, oh, that would be funny there, or sometimes it's even something that like rhymes with a verse, and I'll just be like thinking, and then oh my god, that would be really funny there. But I usually just put it on for my own entertainment. It's not even for any specific reason other than I just think it's funny and think other people would think it's funny too. So yeah, it's not pre-planned. It really just comes as we're making the song.
No, it adds a different element to it, adds a little bit of fun. And I personally can't wait to see you guys at Leeds later in the year. And if people are listening and haven't already got a ticket to the UK tour or any shows around the world, go grab yourself a ticket and you won't be disappointed. But Joey, Brae, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys, for real. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, boys.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.